Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. We have a hot topic for today. I can't wait to dive in. I have been spending so much time putting this together for you because I know that this is a next level move for your firm, whether you're a bookkeeper, tax professional, enrolled agent, CPA. This is definitely going to make a difference. And I also recognize how busy you are working in your business with your clients, taking care of their needs. So I appreciate you joining me today, working on your business to gain those insights as to how to be able to raise the bar, advance your firm forward. Today's topic is build advisory services into your accounting firm to increase your revenue and boost your client's success. What I want to say for inspiration is when John F. Kennedy declared that he was going to have the U.S. be the first nation to plant its flag on the moon. We were just coming from being a war-torn nation. He needed something to really gather us together, unite behind. I will let you know he had the vision, but he had a team of advisors behind him that were able to take that vision and turn it into reality. And that is really the essence of what we're talking about today, is how can you take your client's vision and help them to understand the financials or give them the information for them to be able to turn that vision for themselves into a reality. Doing that is going to separate you from anybody else that is doing something similar to you. So if you have been thinking about adding advisory services to your firm, maybe clients already reach you for quick decisions about something, they want information, and a 5-minute call turns into a 30-minute meeting. Or you find those free initial consults turn into pricky brain sessions because you're eager to help and you're client-centered, then you are absolutely in the right place. Steve, please introduce yourself.
Loren, I'd love to. So hi, my name's Steve Fogelman. I am a therapist turned business coach, and Loren and I, as you can see by the last name, we are together. We have been working together for quite a while, and I'm just excited. I'm going to be your co-host, so I'll be working the chat. If you have any questions for Loren, please go ahead and put them in there, and I will be sure to get those over to Loren. Loren, it's back to you.
Thank you. A little bit about me. Some of you already know a little bit about me, but for the ones that are new here, I will let you know I'm a sports psychologist turned business coach. And what I have seen during my journey is my education gave me all the tools, the theory, the practical advice to do what I do very, very well. However, they also prepared me to be an employee working for someone else instead of a business owner, or being someone who employed others. Because of that, there were 3 things I had to figure out. The first one was how to communicate my value when I'm actually more of an introvert, it's true, than an extrovert. The second thing was how to enroll clients when I didn't like to be salesy. They don't even teach sales in business school. So let's go there. Whole marketing department, no sales classes. And then the third thing is how to price my services when I did not want to charge for my time. That's what I find my clients need as well, is communicating value, being able to enroll clients when they don't like the sales part, and how to be able to earn more without feeling like a slave to their business. As you can see, I have been named as one of the top 22 business coaches by HubSpot from 2018 to 2022. The golden rule. We all know what the golden rule is do unto others as you want done unto yourself. And if I got that a little bit mixed up, please correct me in the chat, but I believe that do unto others as you want done to yourself. So what that means when you're talking about it from a business sense is that you want to think about you before me. You want to think about the other person and what is top of mind for the other person before you start to think about what's top of mind for you. Then the next thing to do as a result of that, by putting the other person first, is asking great questions to understand what's top of mind for them. And the third part, which is critical, sounds basic and fundamental, but so often overlooked, is listening. Pay close attention to their answers and what they say. As they're talking, don't jump ahead about how you can help them, what you're going to do for them. pay close attention because people crave to be seen and heard. This is the golden rule of business, whether it's marketing, an initial consultation, meeting with a client, is put them before you. That is what advisors do. Ask great questions and pay attention to what they say. What we're going to cover today is integrating into your firm, advisory services, kickstarting strategy, and rising up as a valued advisor. And I will absolutely give you as much as I possibly can in our short period of time today. If you're interested in knowing more, having a further conversation, want my assistance with helping you get this all dialed in, then I'll show you how to do that as we wrap up.
Well, Loren, what are the steps to increase the value of a client while we're going through this process?
Well, this is right from my Raise Your Rates formula, which gives you the essence of how to be able to earn more without feeling like a slave to your business, getting your personal time back. If you just follow the overview of these 5 steps, you will start to increase your revenues and also not feel like you're sacrificing your personal life in order to run your business. The very first step is high value clients, because not all clients are created equal. In the beginning, though, you take on a wide range of clients. Some of them are low value on one end of the spectrum, and then others are high value on the other end of the spectrum. What you want to do over time is to really tip the scale so you have more high value clients and not the low value clients. So understanding the differences between your high value and low value clients gives you insights to be intentional on how to attract those high value clients. Okay, that goes right into step number 2. Now you know who you want to work with. How do you communicate your value? Because what attracts a low value client is actually different than what attracts a high value client. And that is part of what we're going to dig into today, is really how to be able to attract those high value clients and communicate why advisory services are going to benefit them. The third thing is packaging your services. When you do this, you're taking that long list of a la carte services you have on the services page of your website, and you're now bundling them together into packages. And this is the first step towards separating your fees from time. When you start to separate your fees from time, that moves into value pricing. Value pricing is when you can earn 2 to 3 times more without any additional time spent working, because you're now setting your fees according to the value of the client instead of setting your fees according to your time, cost, and maybe some profit margin added in. And then step number 5 is consultation mastery. If you don't like the sales part, where you don't want to pitch someone, you don't like being confrontational, you hate hearing no, and you want people to like you, then I know that the beginning of the sales part, where maybe you're finding out about them, is comfortable, but when it comes to talking about your services, enrolling them, and your fees, that's the part that can really feel uncomfortable. And because you don't understand how that works, you might be shutting down a conversation too soon. What I teach is how to have a value conversation instead of a sales conversation, because your clients don't want to be pitched and you don't want to be pitching them. So let's just ditch the pitch. So having a value conversation is where you're asking great questions, and they naturally ask you, how does this work? And then that is going to lead to moving forward and being able to explain it by education instead of selling. So those are the 5 steps of the Raise Your Rates formula: is high value clients, communicate your value, package your services, value pricing, and consultation mastery.
Well, Loren, before we go, we're going to get started with integrating into your firm. But before we do that, we have our first poll question. So do you offer advisory services? It's something I offer clients and I get paid for. It's something I don't know how to charge for. It's in the works, or I'm still gathering information about how it works. So please go ahead and answer those questions for me. And while we're doing that, this is a great time that if you do have a question for Loren, it would be right at this point where you can go ahead and get those questions over to me, and I'll be sure to get those questions over to Loren. So once again, do you offer advisory services? It's something I offer clients and I get paid for. It's something I don't know how to charge for. It's in the works, or I'm still gathering information about how it works.
And Steve, I will close down the poll in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If you want to go ahead and share
I
the
sure
results.
will. So something I offer and get paid for is 36%. It's something I don't know how to charge for is 18%. It's in the works is 9%, and still gathering information is 36%.
Excellent. Thank you.
So Loren,
Go for it.
yeah, we have a really hot topic. I think you mentioned that before, but this one's really interesting because we regularly speak to accounting professionals and they want to offer advisory services. Why is that so important to them?
Well, what I want to say is it's just like this image. When you are offering advisory services, you are helping the light bulb go off in their head so that they're making better business decisions. It also is a way for you to be able to stand out from others who offer someone else. What this means is that you are being seen now as a consultant, that advisor, as opposed to a technician, because what your clients value is your insights, the way to be able to connect the dots for them, the way to be able to help them make better informed decisions, understanding the financials and being able to interpret that for them to be able to apply that is your highest value. So what you know is your highest value, not what you do. What you do might be your highest value to you because you invested time, energy, and money into getting those skills, getting your business to where it is. But from your client's point of view, let's just face it, if you talk too much about the financials and the data and the line by line things that you're reading to them on their reports, eventually their eyes will glaze over because they just don't get it to the same way that you do. So your highest value from your client's perspective is what you know, not what you do. The other thing is, as I was doing some research, I found that 60% of accounting professionals, according to CPA.com, are now beginning to offer advisory services. So that is important, is to know that this is a moving trend within the profession. And I want to make sure that you have what you need to be able to bring that into your firm also, because it's going to raise the bar.
Well, Loren, we've been talking about advisory services, but let's get on the same page and maybe go ahead and give us a definition of what advisory services really are.
Now, there's a lot of different ways to interpret this, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I found this fantastic definition from an Intuit roundtable, where it was a group of accounting professionals, and together they came up with this definition of understanding your clients' challenges and giving them strategies that they can apply to create opportunities for growth. So once again, it's understanding your clients' challenges, giving them strategies which they can apply, which create opportunity for their business growth. That is the essence of advisory services for accounting professionals. It's clean, easy, and it makes total sense. Something to think about is that you might already be doing it organically and you don't even recognize it because it's something that comes easy to you, natural, you're client-centered, and of course you want to help them. So think about what percent of your clients do you educate about the financials because they just don't get it. They might even have 6- and 7-figure businesses and they never had really done monthly bookkeeping. They just wait till the end of the year and get their books taken care of in order to file their taxes on time. So they've grown this really big business without any insights about the financials, without relying on that data. So they need to be educated, or they don't understand the reports that you're sending them. So you're giving them the financials and accounting 101 to be able to start to understand what that means. Because so often, business owners think that they ought to know it. They really don't understand the financials. And so they have what I call accounting shame. And you recognize that, so you help them to really remove that shame that they're having so that they're making better decisions. The other thing is every now and then, there might be something that somebody comes to you for advice, and all of a sudden, whether it's just meeting someone and having a conversation or actually with a client, you get into an unintended pick your brain session. This especially happens during those initial consultations where you're looking to review their books, to understand their financials, to look at what their taxes were that they filed for last year, to see how you can really best help them. And all of a sudden they start with a little question, and one little question snowballs into 45 minutes later. They got so much, they thank you, they leave, and they move on. So that is what might happen, is that without the proper structure, those initial conversations turn into pick your brain sessions. And then your clients pick up the phone, they call you, and that quick 5-minute question turns into a 30-minute meeting. And you're not charging for it because you didn't really track it. You don't know how to charge for it. They were calling and you wanted to be helpful. So once again, you're giving away some of your highest value, which is right here in your head, your know-how, for free, because you want to be able to help a client and you want to tell them that maybe you need to set up a meeting. So then that goes into number 4, is you give away a lot of free information because you want to help your clients, but you don't know how to charge for it. And then the last thing is, well, there I am, I'm repeating myself without even looking at my notes, is that you don't know how to charge for giving away that information. I've seen on websites where they do the taxes and they go, you can call us with any tax question all year long, no charge. So people don't always realize that their highest value is having access to you and you being able to answer questions. It's not necessarily always knowing the forms to use to be able to complete their taxes and file them accurately, or how to categorize their charges. So that is something to think about.
Well, Loren, I know that you've coached accounting professionals who are technicians. What are some things you help your clients with when first helping them add advisory services?
Well, I want to say that a lot of times this is a paradigm shift because so many accounting professionals focus on the technical parts of what they do and they highlight that, and then they kind of minimize their expertise and what they bring to the table. We want to go ahead and reverse that to where you're highlighting your expertise and you happen to know the technical part of it also. So this is a little bit of a mindset shift. And when that comes where you're focusing on being that advisor or consultant, honing in on your expertise first, it might bring up some resistance of, I don't have the right credentials, so how can I do that? It might be also that there's so many other people that do that too. I don't want them to go to somebody else. Maybe, who do I think I am? I haven't had my business for that long or been in the profession for that long. Steve, are there any others that come to mind for you as far as resistance?
No, I think you've kind of covered most of them.
Okay, so if anybody wants to share in the chat, what comes up for you as far as leading with your expertise, the advisory, the consultants piece, and then having the technical part be a part of what you do? What comes up for you? What's the mindset thing which causes you to hold back? And the thing is that answering these questions just takes 5 minutes for me. How can I really even charge for that? Will people pay for that? So that is something to think about, is that there is a lot of resistance as far as the mindset goes. Christian was saying, my agreements with my clients are for reconciliations, payment, financials, and I was giving all this other stuff away for free. Well, Christian, oh, and then Antoinette says ditto, same here. So you are in good company. And that's why I talk about this, is because we want to have you correct that. And so the mindset piece comes first. I want to let you know that starting to move in this direction takes courage, not confidence. It means that, yes, you have these things coming up for you, but you are so committed to really making that change and helping your clients with understanding the data in order for them to make the best decisions possible, that you are willing to get out of your own way and do it anyway. Similar to opening up your own firm, that took courage also, to leave the security of a 9-to-5 and move in this direction. So I know that when it is really important to you, you do have the courage. I want you to really muster that courage. You've done it before. Let's do it again and start to position yourself as an expert first that happens to have the tools and the technical know-how to be able to get the job done. So that is one thing. And then after you do that, then it's the strategy of how does this work? How do I build this in? How do I talk about it? How much time do I want to spend with clients? So that's some of the 30,000 foot view of what it might look like when you bring it into your firm. And then the tactical steps are really the nuts and bolts. How many times do I meet with a client? What happens when a client calls me and it wasn't scheduled? How about can they contact me 24/7? Or can I actually get my personal life back by putting some boundaries in place where they can text me 8 o'clock on Saturday night if they want, but it doesn't mean I'm going to drop everything and get back to them. I want to be able to have the tactical parts where I can maintain business hours. So that is something to think about, is really the mindset. We have to get out of our own way. And it takes courage. The confidence comes later as you get the evidence. And then the strategy of that 30,000 foot view of how does that look like in your business. And then the tactical steps, which is really the essentials and the nuts and bolts of, okay, this many minutes for this person, this many minutes for this person can contact me this many times a month, and so on and so forth. So all that is something that we will be touching on today. The other thing
Loren,
to look,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
please go ahead, Steve.
So, the other thing I was thinking about is that I hear from a lot of people that they need to have more certification, more education behind them before they can start offering these services. And like you said, that's really just a mindset that, and I think Christian said it. She said, I have 30 years of experience that I basically have not really been accepting or acknowledging. And I think that's really important to point out.
Mhm.
And then, so what qualifies them to really do this at this point?
Well, I'm going to give you the unexpected answer. You qualify yourself.
Okay.
Let's just go there, because I will let you know, at one point there was no QBO certification. At one point there wasn't even tax licensure. And then some entity decided to start offering these things, and something that was originally made up by some government entity or some business, people started to take as the status quo. So you have to first qualify yourself. And the other part of why I'm saying that is because we have all seen people with more credentials than us not do a good job, as good a job as we do. So we look at that person's work and we kind of scratch our heads and we're like, how come that person that has all these letters behind their name, they have a complete alphabet, and this is what they're doing with their work for their clients? So I want to let you know, it's not about the credentials, because if you think about it, when you went through school, people had more credentials than you did, and they were credentials to teach you, but a lot of them had never had their own business or actually done it in the field. They just were qualified to teach it. So that is something to think about, is you qualify yourself first. You do not need all the extra credentials behind your name. I think that a lot of times people get credentials behind their name because it gives them the confidence to then go out and offer that. But your clients don't really ask or care. I can tell you for a fact, I have never hung my diplomas on the wall of any of my offices. And maybe the amount of times that someone asked me about my credentials has come up, I can count it on one hand over all the years that I've been in my career, so in my profession. So think about that for you. A lot of times your credentials are for you, unless there's government oversights and regulations, and I absolutely respect that part of it. But it's more for you and your own confidence to be able to go out there than it is for your clients. Your clients just care that you know how to solve their problems and remove their headaches and help them move forward, more than they do about what initials are behind your name. So that is something to think about. And in order to do that, this means that you need to connect with your value before they can recognize the value that you bring to the table. With Susan, She did not like bragging about herself, talking about herself, even though she's been doing this for decades in many, many different ways. She's had her own business that was a 7-figure business. She has helped and worked in other people's business. She has a really wide range of knowledge from all of her years of being in the field, but she still underpriced herself because she felt she needed to have a lot of clients to meet her revenue needs, and she didn't know how to communicate her value. So what we did is we started to turn things around where she had to connect with her value first before she could explain it to her clients. And then she took the step-by-step raise your rates formula and put it into play. Because of that, I want to bring you to cleanup number 1 and look at the fact that if she would have just priced it as she originally would have by looking at time and her hourly rate, she would have priced this cleanup at $1,500. And she 100% of the time underestimated what the cleanup project was going to take. So we had a quick conversation. I helped to see the value from the client's point of view and what it would be worth to them and how that would make things different for them as far as savings, as well as increased revenues. We priced that same project, no additional time spent working, at $7,900. She followed the step-by-step on how to have that conversation with them. They said yes. They actually, because she was following my process, paid her upfront before she did the project. And as a result of that, she now had evidence. So it started to give her more courage to move forward with other clients and do that with them too. And as a result of that, over 9 months, she brought in an additional $56,000. But the other thing that's important is she went from working 7 days a week, 70 hours a week, literally, down to 3 days a week, 20 hours a week. So not only did she earn the additional $56,000 in revenue, but she also got her personal time back to spend with her family, travel, and do other things that interested her beyond just feeling like a slave to her business, which was burning her out. And so think about what that would do for you too, if you could increase your revenues and get your personal time back.
To me, that sounds like a win-win. So moving forward, we're going to look at the Kickstart strategy. But before we do that, we have our next poll question. So what's your confidence level as an advisor? What's your confidence level as an advisor? And if we can get the poll up, Loren, that would be great.
Oh, thank you. I am reading the chat and catching up on things in the chat and everything. So
Sure.
The poll is up.
Okay.
And then I did put a question in the chat as well. How do your clients benefit from advisory services? And then Christina asked a question of difficulty shifting mindset to offering packages versus hourly fees for bookkeeping and consulting services over the past 16 years. And I think that that is really spot on, Christina. It is a mindset shift for you because you've always done things a certain way of tying your services to time. But I want to let you know that when you do that, it actually creates a tug of war between you and your clients because your clients are on one end of this imaginary rope of wanting to work as quickly as possible to pay as little as possible. And they even second guess whether they should reach out to you before making a decision because they don't want to pay more for that time with you. And then you are on the other end of that rope in the tug of war where you're not incentivized to add more technology or to become more efficient because the faster you become and the more expertise you gain, the more efficient you are, which means that you earn less than when you were first starting out. So that is something to think about is by separating your fees from time, it allows you to actually become more profitable with your services than when you are monthly invoicing. But the other thing that happens is how much time, Christina, do you spend tracking hours, sending out invoices, chasing money on those late payers, and maybe even having write-offs or having to negotiate fees? And that is something that I believe needs to change. Is getting paid after the fact is not a benefit to you, and it actually isn't a benefit to your clients either. If you were to take a airplane ride from LA to Las Vegas, they would never hand you an invoice at the end of the flight where you can do net 30 and pay them 30 days out. but that's what accounting professionals do on a regular basis, is that you are sending invoices after the work is done. And as a result of that, it really lowers your value. So I am a champion for you to be able to try this out and move away from invoicing and charging an hourly rate over to packages. It's one of those things that once you do it, you will wonder why you waited so long. So that is something to think about. I have a couple more messages. Here is, so some of the things as far as advisory services is receive information that guides them in growth, is what Nicole was saying. And Johannes was saying, right now, my clients don't benefit from advisory services, as I'm not sure how to add these or market them. I appreciate the transparency. So that is something that we will start to cover here as well. Steve, you want to share the results?
Absolutely. So what's your confidence level as an advisor? Highly confident, 46%. I'm interested, but would love to know more is 46%. And I don't feel qualified is 8%.
Thank you.
So what's motivating, the accounting professionals to add the advisory services to their firms?
Well, I believe that technology has really evened out the playing field in many different ways, because now people aren't looking for someone just geographically, locally in their community. They might be searching the whole country. They might even be searching outside of the country into other countries where there's a different economy and someone else can offer the same service at a lower rate. And it's not just, okay, so it's not just about no more local competition. There is national competition, there is global competition, and then there is AI competition. There is technology, because there is technology that can do what you used to do, or maybe still do, and it can do it more economically. So you no longer are competing just with others in your community. You're now competing globally as well as with AI and technology. If you fail to adapt and you continue to focus on the technology part of what you do, the technical part, the skill set part of filing taxes, doing your bookkeeping, then what happens is you are going to go on the road to extinction. You're going to follow the lead of blockbusters, Kodak, and travel agents. Think of what happened to travel agents and that entire industry once Priceline came on board. So that is that's the transformation that the accounting profession is going through, is the ones that continue to focus on the technical aspects and fail to differentiate themselves because of the advisory part of it might eventually be outdated and outnumbered, and eventually you might no longer have a business that's able to support you in the way that you want to. So that is something to think about. And there are benefits of also adding in the advisory piece. One thing is that you now stand out instead of blend in. It lets clients understand why they ought to choose you instead of going with somebody else that can do something similar to you. You're able to charge clients more, so that increases your revenue. Because of that, it also increases the value of a client. If clients are paying for your advisory services in addition to the other things you do for them, then they are paying you a higher fee than they would otherwise. And I think that overall, you end up with better clients who really respect you, appreciate you, and take what you're suggesting and implement. So you're making a difference in a wider way than you would otherwise. So that is what I see as to why you want to consider adding advisory services into your firm if you don't know how to yet.
Well, Loren, many business owners, they really lack the insight about their financials, and that impacts their cash flow, obviously, and the overall financial health of their business. What can accounting professionals do to assist their clients with the financials?
I believe as an accounting profession, you are someone who can interpret the numbers. You understand the numbers. You love the numbers. You can see patterns that others can't see. You know how to move numbers around in order to benefit someone else so that they can go ahead and be able to serve at a high level and have quality of life also. I want to be able to simply put that out there front and center. You are uniquely qualified to understand the stories behind the numbers. And as a result of that, when you share that information with your clients, they are able to make better decisions. And think about that with clients of, did maybe client, you have a client that wasn't working with you previously, and it was a very costly mistake that they made. Or maybe they overpaid in taxes because they didn't know about certain deductions or other things. They didn't have the right business entity. And because that they were paying a higher tax bill than what they needed to. Or they didn't realize that if they started to fund their 401k, then that would make a difference for them as well. So you understand how the numbers work, how to be able to apply them so that it's to their advantages, and how to be able to give them insights as to how to move forward. This means that what's happening as you're transitioning into adding advisory services is you're taking the compliance piece, which is basically after the fact reporting, and you're now pairing it with advisory, which is future focused, by helping them understand what the patterns were, what the trends are, what the numbers are that are currently going on for them, and then being able to apply it to where their business is going. That adds value. So I want to say what you do is so important. And this is just taking something that you naturally see anyway and sharing it more in an open way with your client so that they're making better decisions and they are benefiting from working with you.
Well, what's the added value to the clients from meeting with you and from receiving your advisory services?
Well, the first thing is the insights, is that not only do you work with this one client, you work with a wide range of clients. And because of that, you're able to see things that are coming up, or maybe patterns, or you do things with one client over here, and you know that this one thing that you did with this one client here can apply beautifully to these 3 other clients also. So it's not that you're sharing one client's trade secrets, but you're learning as you work with different clients, and you gain a deep knowledge about business and how business operations work, and that all your clients benefit because you're working with a wide range of them. So that is one thing, is really understanding that by working with a wide range of clients, what you do with one client can benefit others, and you want to give them those things to help them avoid costly mistakes, or maybe move in a specific direction that they never would have thought about because they're not at that place in their business's journey yet. The other thing is that over the years, you've gathered a lot of expertise. You know a lot about accounting and how the numbers work. And I want you to be able to share that knowledge about the bookkeeping, the accounting, the tax, in order for them to really benefit from your services. And then the third part is, as I was mentioning before, is to move away from solely compliance into advisory services. Lets you have that perfect pairing. It's like wine and cheese, or peanut butter and chocolate. It's taking the compliance work and pairing it with something that's future focused in order to help them make better decisions as they're moving forward with their business. And I will say, how many times do they get the reports and then they see the number in their bank account and they don't understand why those numbers don't match up? So understanding those things makes a big difference, and you are the person to be able to show them how to be able to use the numbers to grow their business and move forward. With Bill, he does a lot of networking in the community. And in the beginning, he was focusing on the compliance piece, the technical things that he does for his clients with the bookkeepers and bookkeeping and the monthly financials, and being able to take care of payroll needs and all those other things. But Bill actually has an MBA in finance, and he was minimizing it. He was like sweeping it under the carpet and leading with his bookkeeping and accounting services. What I did is show him how to be able to communicate the value of how his clients benefit because of the fact that they are using him. Because not only does he do the traditional compliance work, he also consults with his clients. And that is something that he loves to do. And by being able to bring that front and center of how he can help his business clients move forward and make better decisions and grow and be able to improve not just their revenues, but their profit margin, by changing the message and being able to communicate that, he was able to bring in an additional $10,000 of new business in less than 30 days. So think about that for you. If you had the right words and you knew how to be able to share that with others, what would that do for your business? And how would that actually make a difference for somebody else who needs you and they don't realize that you can do that for them too?
Well, let's go ahead and move on to rise up as a valued advisor. But before we do that, we have our next poll question. So who would you offer advisory services to? All my clients, a select few of my clients, or I'm really unsure. So once again, who would you offer your advisory services to? All my clients, a select few, or I'm unsure. And looks like we already have an ending to the poll, Loren, so that's great. Yeah. And it basically says,
wait, it's not finished. People are still answering, Steve.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep. Just give them another couple of seconds. Let's
Okay.
close it down at 3, 2, 1. Okay, now
Okay.
you can share.
Sure. So all my clients would be 64%. A select few of my clients would be 36%. I'm unsure would be 11%.
Perfect. And I want to also say, I put in the chat, do you know the numbers your clients are aiming for? That's something to think about as we're moving forward. And I also wanted to answer Johannes, where he says, right now, my clients don't benefit from advisory services because he's not sure how to market them. And what I would say is think about what are the challenges that clients come to you for before they actually start working with you. Is it that they are maybe, and if anybody wants to share that in the chat, please go ahead and do that. What are the things that clients come to you for before they actually start working with you? Did they get a letter from the IRS? Did they maybe find that they just can't do the taxes or accounting themselves any longer because they've grown and they're too busy? Or possibly somebody else was doing it for them. There was poor communication and it wasn't a good fit for them. So think about what were the reasons that that person would, or maybe they want to grow, but they don't really know how quickly they can make that next investment or move. So Nicole said they want to receive information that guides them in growth. And then Christina said starting a new business, not sure how to set up accounting. So those are some of the things to think about. Is what you want to lead with is the things, understand those challenges that they had. It goes back to the definition I was speaking about in the beginning from the Intuit Roundtable, understand the challenges they have, and then being able to let them know how they can go ahead and fix those challenges. So let them know what are some of the things to do that would be able to resolve that and how you can help them by those things. That is really the essence of communicating your value, is understanding the challenges, educating them about how they can go ahead and fix that, or how you might have helped a client with something similar. And by that, they see the value of working with you and the advisory services. So I'm going to
go ahead.
Was there something else, Steve?
No, I was just going to say that, before we get into the final section where you're going to discuss the advisory session blueprint, I know that we have a resource and there it is up on the screen. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Right there.
Absolutely.
So if you want the advisory meeting guide, then go to businesssuccesssolution.com/advisor, ADVISOR. And you can go ahead and grab that guide. So the other thing that Christina said people come to her for is cleanup from prior bookkeepers, and CPA told them they need to hire a bookkeeper from here on out. So that is something else, is that if they've been doing their financials, but they're not sure if they're really accurate or not, or maybe they want you to look them over, then those are some of the things where you can start to look at advisory services and solving their needs.
Well, what are some tactical things that they need to look for?
What you really want to do is understand what it is as far as the numbers that they're aiming for. I encourage all my clients to really understand what it is that their clients are aiming for. This is a way to start to move into offering advisory services if you're not doing yet, because as we said, the Compliance part is the tactical things that you do, and it's after the fact. But we need to know the future focus part. That means, what is it that they want to achieve over the next 12 months? Why is this important to them? And then maybe to really understand what is the things that they need to have in order to achieve those things. Where do they need insights or data? Maybe you can help them identify 2 or possibly 3 KPIs, key performance indicators, that will be tracked to be able to know if they're really on target or if some changes need to be made. Another thing to understand is that a lot of times they're aiming for a particular number, but they don't think about the profit margin. And they think that if they increase their revenues, they're going to increase their profit margin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, but as you know, it's not. So you really want to understand the numbers that they're aiming for, why this matters to them, and then also what is some things that you could track for them in order to help them be more likely to either achieve or exceed that goal. But then, so that's the strategic part of what you want to think about. Now there comes the tactical steps. The tactical steps are how can, and so just take the essence of this, but you want to think about meeting agenda and topics. You want to think about communication. How do you communicate with them? How often do you meet with them? And really understanding what is the investment for them. What is the benefit of them investing in advisory services? And if you think about the value of the investment, it goes into 4 things. You want to show them how you can help them make more money than they could on their own, or maybe how to do it faster than they could otherwise, because if you can show them how to speed it up, that's like compounding interest. So either help them, show them how they can make more money than what they think they can make, how to be able to do it faster than what they think they can do it, make it easier than what they think it's going to be because you're monitoring the financials for them and giving them insights, or how to be able to avoid costly mistakes. So those are the things that you want to think about regarding the value from a client's point of view with advisory services is make more money, make it easier for them, speed up the process, avoid costly mistakes. And the other part of this is going to be about possibly, okay, the meaningful conversation. So what is it that you want to talk to them about? And this is really about the fact that you want to have meaningful conversations and understanding what it is that they want to achieve. So the numbers that they're aiming for, identifying maybe some reports that would be beneficial for them, or KPIs that you want to track for them so they have very specific data that is going to help them make better decisions and know how to course correct along the way, is really what you want to think about. So when you think about that, you want to think about what is it that you can do to help them achieve those results. And that is the essence of what the advisory sessions will accomplish, along with the compliance work that you're doing for them, is taking that technical data and helping them to get a result. That is the bottom line. Steve, was there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
I think you talked a little bit about the tactical steps, but I think it's important to kind of go over those a little bit and just kind of emphasize that.
Mm-hmm. So then, let me go ahead and go into this then. Set your agenda, which is what are some of the things that you could be talking with them about during the advisory sessions that you're having with them. And I put a couple up here. Is collections and reducing write-offs. That's going to increase their profit margin, and collections is going to definitely increase their revenues. Forecasting for expansion, budgeting for a big investment that they want to make, near-term strategic planning. So if you know what it is that they want to achieve over the next 12 months, then let's cut it down into quarterly goals that they want to hit. So what is it that they want to focus on for the next 90 days? Tax planning, in order to be able to make sure that they have the best tax advantage possible. They're not getting hit with any surprises where they didn't go ahead and budget for that. And then they're stressing out, or they aren't able to file on time, and now they're paying big penalties. So those are some of the things to think about as far as what agenda items you want to offer to your clients. Steve, were there any other agenda items that you thought about that you wanted to add?
No, Lauren, I think you covered the majority of them that I was thinking about.
Okay, just want to make sure. Oh, and the one that should be on here, and I didn't put in here, is they all ought to receive Accounting Fundamentals 101. We want to make sure that they all, let's not assume that, okay? Let's make sure that they really understand the numbers. And if you're giving them reports, make sure that they actually understand what's on the report so that they can apply that information and actually benefit from the information that you're sending them. The next thing you want to think about is that, okay, you're going to add this into your services. You're already busy with the work that you already have, and that clients feel free to reach out to you all the time. So if you feel that clients are reaching out to you 24/7, they don't realize that you have a life outside of your business and that you want to be able to set business hours, then not only do packages allow you to be able to communicate what it is that how often you meet with them, how to reach to you, how quickly you respond to them, but they also communicate how often you're going to meet with them and what you're going to be doing for them and not doing for them, so that your work doesn't tend to go out of scope, where as their business needs expand, your fees remain the same. You're doing more work, but you're not getting paid for the additional things that you're doing for them. So the packages that I teach and do with my clients tend to be silver, gold, and package. The silver is the very essentials, but I actually encourage you to offer 1 or 2 advisory services a year in the silver packages, because I feel that every time clients meet with you, they will benefit from meeting with you, that conversation, and also as they grow, they might want to have more meetings with you. The gold is where the majority of your clients ought to be, and maybe this will include quarterly advisory sessions to be able to help them come up with a 90-day plan for the next quarter and make sure that there's no adjustments that they need to make in order to hit their revenue needs. And then the diamond package I see as more as outsourced CFO, where they have a lot of access to you. They are definitely moving in many directions. They might have multiple business entities, and they realize that having you on speed dial helps them to move their businesses forward faster and avoid costly mistakes. So those are the things to think about, is that when I work with my clients, we build advisory sessions into the packages, but we also teach how to communicate with you so that you don't feel like if they do call you on Friday at 8 o'clock at night, that you have to stop everything and respond to them, whether it's a text, a call, an email. They know that you have boundaries and you're teaching them how to work with you. When you move in this direction of adding advisory services into your firm, it is an up-leveling move. It's an advanced level move. And this is where you're able to earn 2 to 3 times more without any additional time spent working. So think about that. If you can increase your revenues 2 to 3 times more, that means that you might not need as many clients to meet your own revenue needs, which allows you then to work with your clients more closely to help them move forward. You're also working with a better quality client, and they know other people just like them. So if you're now working with a better quality client who values what you bring to the table, then they are going to tell other people, they're going to sing your praises and bring other people just like them into your firm. So it raises the bar in so many different ways. And the clients that you work with, where you're meeting with them for advisory services, they actually are more loyal to you because you're helping them grow. They can see how you're helping them with their revenues and improving the quality of their service as well as their personal life. And because that they are not as price sensitive. So that is something to think about, is when you are adding the advisory services in, you're able to earn 2 to 3 times more than when you're just focusing on the compliance piece. This is someone I've been working with for the past year with Lillian. We had a conversation where she shared in a group mastermind call that we were having, a group coaching call, about how she now charges a minimum of $10,000 for a cleanup project. But she wasn't always like that. In the beginning, she was charging by the hour, and she was very, very fast. So most of her cleanup projects probably averaged about $1,200 or so. They weren't very high for the amount of work that she was doing, the difference it made for her clients having accurate financials. Because she started to make that strategic shift of really focusing on people seeing her as an advisor, and she does the bookkeeping for them and the accounting for them, keeping them up to date with their financials, they saw the value of working with her, and they weren't as price sensitive. So I did have her permission to share this. I asked her first, but she now starts offering cleanup projects. The minimum is $10,000. And she's gotten more than that. And this is for just 12 months. It's only for a year's worth of cleanups. Her minimum is $10,000. So think about what that would do for you. And then after she does the cleanups, she enrolls them into a package. This is an example of her packages. This is proprietary, so it's for inspiration. It is not for you to copy. It's just to show you that after they on board with her and do the cleanup, they already see her as a consultant, as an advisor. She's setting it up from the very first free consultation. And then she enrolls them into one of her packages, either the basic, the pro, or the premium. So that is something to think about for you as well. And Christina is saying, congratulations, Lorianne. It was really great hearing her share that with the community as to how she does that.
So what we covered today was integrating into your firm, rise up as, kickstart your strategy, and rise up as a valued advisor. And before we do that, Loren, you have something that you wanted to share a lot. What do you have for the accounting professionals who would like to know more and go further?
Well, if you are looking to work with a better quality client, increase the value of a client, start building advisory services into your firm, then let's go ahead and have a dedicated conversation. I have put aside a couple Path to Profit strategy sessions. It is a dedicated conversation. We're focusing on you, your business, what it is you want to achieve. It has a $500 value, but it is complimentary because I really want to hear what is top of mind for you and what it is that you want to do, and see if it's something that I can help you with. If you're ready to stop thinking about this and finally get this done, and not just with moving forward with new clients, but going ahead and getting your legacy clients up to your new rates also, then let's go ahead and have a dedicated conversation with a Path to Profit strategy session. It can be at businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. Once again, go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk to get that started. I want to say, I so appreciate you taking time away from working in your business. I know how busy you are to working on your business, getting an advanced level move. If you got one thing from today, our short time together, that you can go ahead and implement and you see the value of it, please set up that conversation with me to talk further. Thank you so much. Loren Fogelman.
Stephen Fogelman.
Showing accounting professionals how to double their income.
Working half the time.
Take care. Bye.